under the bright skies. Only sunshine.
Yeah, what it feels like right now is, it just kind of feels like, well, I'm in a cast.
When the words are like bullets and they break through your skin, and there's no way to get them all out. When it feels like rust seeping into your soul, stay go, 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 stay go, 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 stay.
I fell down today for the first time. I'm just really frustrated because everything that I've been doing, I need help with. I want to be able to do things on my own.
Out of reach, couldn't stop you, couldn't hold you back. You were so real, so real. When the words are like bullets and they break through your skin, and there's no way to get them all out. When it feels like rust seeping into your soul, stay go, 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 stay go, 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 stay go, 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 under the bright skies. Only sunshine. I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop. I can't stop.
Hi guys, how we doing? Good, good, good. Excuse me, I'm a little out of breath. Hold on one second. It's my day off, so give me a second. Well, as you may or may not know, my name is Andrew Joseph Montgomery, but everybody just calls me AJ for short. A little bit about me. It is my day off, isn't it? Whew. I originally come from a tiny town in Nebraska called Minden, Nebraska. How small? About 2,900 people. I have 2 stoplights in my hometown. And the coolest place to hang out on a Friday is the Dine-In Pizza Hut. But apparently that is not small enough because someone that I actually graduated with a year before me is actually an orthopedist in this room. David Carsons is actually right over there holding it down for Minden. Yes, yes. In a high school of 300 people at a time. But after high school, I picked up all of my stuff and I moved to Chicago to study architecture. Tried that, liked it, didn't love it. So I actually dropped it, called my mom and told her I was packing up all of my stuff. I was moving to LA to become an actor, which, as you know as a parent, is great to hear from your child. All right, so I moved to LA about 10 years ago. Started, working for Disney, working for Universal Studios. I actually got the privilege of the honor to do a contract overseas in China for Disney, which was a lot of fun. But while I was in LA, I took a nice little vacation, and I ended up making it over here to Vegas. And that was about 9 years ago. I had just started studying gymnastics. And by studying, I mean doing backflips in the backyard, not like actually like like studying it. So I actually made it out here, and 9 years ago I saw Le Rêve for the very first time. And from the second that I saw it, I knew that I had to be a part of this show. I had just started gymnastics, so as you can imagine, performing on a Cirque du Soleil type level, it's not an easy task. So I loved the costumes, I loved the music, I loved the acts, I loved everything about the show, and I knew that I had to be a part of it. So fast forward 9 years, and I finally felt like I was in a position where I could audition for the show. I finally felt like I could pass all of the tests, and I felt like I was in a good spot to actually secure a spot in that show. So I went to the open call, which I went with quite a few hundred other people. I did a series of strength tests, I did a series of swim tests, and I did a series of choreography sessions, and at the end of the day, I was standing there with a handful of other people. So at the end of the day, the only thing that I was really waiting for was a call to either let me know that I got the show or that I didn't get the show. That was April 15th, 2015. 4 days later, while I was traveling home on my motorcycle from work, I got hit by a reckless driver, and I knew that my life had changed forever. I spent 2.5 weeks in the hospital. I had 3 surgeries to try to save my leg, and at the end of 3 surgeries, the doctor kind of sat down with me and said, "Listen, we have a decision to make. We could keep doing this for the next 5-6 years, have 10 to 12 surgeries. You'd probably spend most of your time in bed recovering for the next surgery. And at the end of it all, with best hopes, you would have a foot that's completely fused together, that has 0 articulation. You would have to use a cane for the rest of your life, and it would probably most definitely cause you pain every day for the rest of your life." As fun as that sounds, I said, "What's behind door number 2? He said, "Or we could amputate." I sat there for a couple of seconds, and I said, Well, we all know the decision I made. So we went through and we amputated. Now, when I made the decision, I didn't know what it was like to be an amputee. I didn't have any friends that were amputees. I didn't even know anybody at all that was an amputee. So I felt really lost and really alone. But I did know one thing. The people are doing incredible things with prostheses. Great. I knew that they were doing great things. And even though I didn't know anybody that was in Le Rêve with a prosthesis, I did know that people were running marathons. And I know that there are Paralympic Games where Paralympic athletes are winning gold medals. So even though I may not be able to get to Le Rêve, I knew that I possibly could run a marathon one day, which is far better than not being able to walk myself down the aisle without help, or walk my kids down the aisle for their weddings, or play with my kids without any help from other canes, etc. So I knew that was a better option. Now, even though I made this decision, I knew that if I could get to that point where I was able to re-audition for the show, and I was strong enough, and I could swim far enough. In case you didn't know in the video, I used to have hair. So all of the boys in the show have to shave their heads. And that's so that no one person stands out more than any other, so that we all look the same, so that it looks like we are all doing the exact same show. And I knew that even if I could shave my head, which obviously I can, titanium doesn't exactly hide very well from stage lights. And so I didn't think that it was quite a possibility. But yet, running a marathon was still maybe an option. After I got home from the hospital, about a week and a half later, I got an email from the casting director of Le Rêve. And in that email, she basically said to me that she was about to offer me a position and give me a call to offer me a contract. But then she heard about what happened to me in my accident. And so she was basically writing to offer her condolences and to basically offer that if there's ever a day where I was having a hard time getting out of bed, where I ever needed any motivation at all whatsoever, to give her a call, and she would give me tickets to see the show. And that could be a nice little inspiration. So a couple of weeks later, actually, we were in Vegas for a friend's birthday. So Vegas, the Strip, alcohol, and crutches. It's a good time. But we actually managed to see the show that night, and she asked me if we wanted to go take a backstage tour. Well, of course I said yeah. And after the tour, she stopped me and she said, I actually told the cast about your story, and they want to meet you. Is that okay? Now, this is the first time I had worn jeans in like 3 months, so I was really nervous. So I met the cast, and she then proceeded to tell me that she had spoken with the general manager, she had spoken with health services, and she'd spoken with everybody involved, and she said that as long as I could do what I did in my audition, I would have a position here at LaRev. And so, thank you. Well, I hadn't done anything yet, so. But after that, there was a relit of a fire that was inside me. And I went home and I immediately sat down with prosthetists and I started treating them like interviews. And I probably saw half a dozen, and every single prosthetist told me the same thing. I said, here's my opportunity. And they said, well, you're gonna have to realize that your life is a little different now. And that things are changing. Another one said to me, well, why don't we focus on getting you to walk, and then we can focus on other things, but let's just focus on what's at hand. I was hopeless. I was abandoned. I knew that there was this amazing opportunity, but I had no way of getting there. The device that I needed to get there, no one believed enough that it could get me there. And so I had state insurance, and when you have state insurance, you have to give a prescription from a county hospital. So I went to a county hospital, and a doctor looked at me and said, oh, you need a prosthesis. So we got to talking, and we shared stories, and I told him about this opportunity. He said, hold on a second. And he left for a couple of minutes, and then he came in, and the next thing I knew, I had 3 prosthetists, a physical therapist, a doctor, and an intern, all talking with me back and forth about the different ways to make a leg that I could dance in, swim in, do aerial work in, and do acrobatics in. And that was the day that I met Hanger. And that day changed my life, because that was the day that I knew that point A could be met with point B. And that was all because of the people that I met that day, being in the right place at the right time. Now, that's only half the battle, of course, as you know. So after we had gotten all of these things figured out, I think mentality is one of the biggest things and one of the biggest hurdles to overcome. You can lift weights, you can do agility drills, you can do whatever you need, but I think that the mindset and the positivity to get you somewhere is the fastest ticket there. I think it's over half of the journey. And I know that every day it's really easy to get caught in the mundanes of like going to work and just doing whatever we need to do, but I think it's imperative to realize that this room, you are the reason why we can do what we do. And because of you, we can do anything. And I think Hanger's motto really rings true when it's, empowering human potential. Someone saw in me the potential to get me somewhere. And all they said was yes. And now, 8 months after I took my first step, I re-auditioned for the show. And now I do 10 shows a week, almost 500 shows a year. And it's great, and I don't get any special treatment. I don't get any, special rehearsals. I do everything the way that everybody else does. Now, I do have a secret to share. When I was at Disney, I was in a parade, and I was hired to actually walk in a parade, not dance, not jump. They hired me because I looked good walking, I guess. But when that parade was ending, I was obviously about to lose my job because my parade was no more. And so they looked at me and they said, okay, well, would you like to walk on stilts? And I said, walk on stilts? Yeah. So I then proceeded and I started my career of 8 years of walking on stilts. I walked on 3-foot stilts, 5-foot stilts. I was 12 feet tall. I did jumping stilts, all of those things. But because of all of that, I learned a valuable lesson. I never imagined that my life would be this way. You don't think about it that way. But in 28 years of decision making, I have learned that I am exactly where I need to be, and I'm exactly talking to who I need to be talking to. And because of the 8 years that I walked on stilts, the very first day that I put on my prosthesis, I was walking around the prosthetics office. I literally was walking around the hanger office, like without the gate rails, was literally walking around, going up and down stairs. My prosthetist is freaking out, going, no, grab the rails, grab the rails. You know, and I just want to say again that it's because of the positive mindset that we can all have and the connection that we have that allows everybody to do what we need to do. So whatever patient you're dealing with, whatever prosthesis you're creating, just know that you are helping somebody, and with that positive relationship, we can do anything. Thank you.
Awesome.